Look at that man, Brad Hill. He's probably ran about 10 kilometres in this first quarter for one disposal. His teammates need to be more aware of this.
Maybe if we give it to him a little bit more when he's free. So when he's out in the open or got 5, 10, 20 metres on his opponent, maybe give him the ball. He's trying to find the connection with the group and still growing that, but there's times there where he should just get the footy and he didn't get it.
It is Ross the Boss time, and I've missed talking footy with you, Ross, the last couple of weeks.
And you too, Lordy.
Yeah, Ross the Boss brought to you by PointsBet. And Bradley Hill, no one knows Bradley better than you do, Ross, but I've got some stats for you. He's had over 20 disposals once this season, and he's had 12 disposals or less 4 times. And this was an effort I didn't like seeing on the weekend. Obviously, scoreboard's going against them. He was on Tui, a different sort of matchup on the end. We get some down-the-ground vision. Bradley didn't really dig in like you would like a player to of his note coming in after that. Not a great chase from Bradley Hill. I'm sure he'd be working a little bit harder if
he can
he
chase
was in
better
attack.
than that.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then there was one more effort, Ross, before I'm interested in how you coach a player like Bradley Hill. And this one, going inside 50, I pause it here. I'm expecting a fist to go hard through the ball. And Bradley didn't fight as much as I thought he would in that case. So how do you coach that with Bradley?
Well, he's not a renowned aerialist.
Yes.
So, but I'm in Brett Ratton's camp.
Yes.
Give him the ball. He was clear in what he'd seen during the game. There would have been 10 or 15 opportunities. Get in the hands of Brad Hill. For an analogy, a lot of us are basketball fans. Brad Hill's the point guard. Give him the ball. And against Port Adelaide, it seemed a real strategy. He went deep into defence when they held up, gave him the ball. He's a start-up player. He breaks the lines. He gets through. That's his role. That's why we're paying him. Under me, give him the ball. Give Brad the ball. So Brett clearly saw too many instances where he was ignored.
So where do you pick a player like Bradley Hill in your team then? So is he well down on Neil, Fife and everything because he relies on others to get him the footy then? If that's
No, he's a complimentary player, but I'll tell you, he does a lot of chasing for Neil and Fife as well. He won a best and fairest. He's a clear... The wing role is a really crucial role linking defence and attack, and he does it as well as anyone. You got him through for a reason, not to win 10 contested possessions in a clearance. No one runs hard. The courage to run is as great as the courage to put your head over the ball, and that's what he does. Give him the ball.
Geelong and Port Adelaide on Friday night, Ross. It's 1v3, Metricon Stadium. How do you see the two styles of play with these two clubs?
Yeah, well, the first thing, attack and defence, basically both top 4. Really good pressure teams in the front half. In the top 3 in the competition, Port Adelaide number 1. So they turn it over, don't let you out, go back and score quickly. And it's an underestimated aspect of Geelong's game. Rowan's brought real pace. Parfitt, Narkle, all those, Brian Myers, the ability to pressure, lock it in, take it back and score. So they're evenly matched there. Contest the ball, they're both top 3 in the comp. But where we see a difference is when they get the ball in general field play. And we're going to see Geelong are more measured, uncontested marks. Menegola, slow, assess, look up the field. What have I got? I'm looking for an uncontested mark, can't find one, go to a contest. But they've set the field up and made St Kilda one-on-one and opened up their forward line by doing it.
They took 100 marks against the Saints.
Yeah.
Did you have a number you wanted to keep a team under in terms of marks?
Well, a team like Geelong, you've got to take, you'd say they average 100, get them down to 80, 75, because you need to squeeze up on them. Don't sit off them. What they've said to St Kilda, you want to defend without playing on us? No. To get the ball, you're going to have to come and get it, and they scored really easy. But conversely, St Kilda couldn't get out because Geelong can squeeze you up. Was Port...
Yeah.
They're a bit more go. They'll pull the kicks through the corridor, take it on. You can see that's almost a turnover. Georgiade had started this. He's going to run through and end up. So they'll take some risks to get into their forward line. Geelong will be more measured, but then they've got really sharp hands and pace, and that's Georgiade. So it's going to be a mouth-watering clash like Port Adelaide and Richmond. Really excited to watch it.
OK, Ross, the two key forwards, ranked 1 and 2 in the competition is Charlie Dixon and Tom Hawkins. In terms of Charlie Dixon, can you fully trust him at the moment?
Well, you were on him earlier than me, but he's got himself fit. They're going to him. He's a man striking at the ball, loving watching the power forward Kennedy, Charlie Dixon and Hawkins coming back. But looking at that, mouth-watering. But Port's weakness to me is their lack of tall backs. You know, Dougal Howard went to St Kilda, and you saw Child really get hold of him a little bit. They're defending really well. I think they're top 2 defence. But I think as we get to the big boys in the finals, that short defence...
Cleary, Jonas.
Yeah, Cleary, their tallest is 193. Jonas is 188. If the pressure drops off, the big boys will get hold of him.
Just wanted to show a board of Tom Hawkins and what he's done at Geelong for a long period of time. 31, he was an All-Australian last year. He's on track to be All-Australian again, and he's kicked the third most goals since 2012 in the AFL. What a player he's been.
Well, it's an average of 2.5 goals a game. Franklin and Kennedy are up around 3.2 and 3, and the other guys are 2.5. So anyone can perform for a week, a year, 3 years, but you give me a decade of high performance as a power forward, and you're a great player, and that's what Jack is.
Ross, neutral territory, Metricon Stadium. Who do you like in this one?
Well, I just think I'm a Geelong fan. I just think I was on them early in the year. Yeah. The boom kids for Port, Rosie, Butters and Dersman, but the unheralded Geelong, Atkins, Myers, O'Connor. I'm really excited by Parfitt and Narkle and Atkins and what they're doing.
Yeah, I like Port in that one myself. Just on Melbourne and Collingwood, massive game for these two clubs because I think they'll figure in the bottom part of the 8, possibly one of them. But their scores, Ross, per inside 50, both have struggled this year.
Yeah, both of them really in the top 4 defence. Defend really well, no problem. Collingwood being challenged by injury, ravaged. Great time for Melbourne. Probably 6 of Collingwood's best 7 players out. But Melbourne have really improved their score efficiency. I think we showed the world was on them. Can you just use it better? So composure going inside 50. They've gone from 17th retaining the ball to 5th. They're big improvements, and you can just see here.
So even though it was against the Crows and North, still you take that.
Well, you're playing AFL football. There's no easy games. No. Most teams can defend pretty well, but their ability to get their leading patterns right and isolate has been much improved. But it's going to be a bigger test. Collingwood, number 1 defence, basically. And hopefully more comes back in after being managed and they tighten up and it's a real challenge. But Melbourne, no better time to strike and continue to improve your football.
So what about Melbourne? Gawn and Grundy, that matchup, do you see that as being central to it?
Or? Oh, it's pivotal. Yeah. And Collingwood are used to getting first use. I was disappointed in their midfield when Nick Nat got hold of the ball and they didn't adjust to a beaten ruck. So I think it could be a beaten ruck again this week. Let's make sure the Collingwood midfield adapt this week. Well,
let's hope Gawn comes back for this matchup, who didn't play on the weekend. Let's take a look at some of the outs for both clubs. Obviously, there's still some tests, but Gawn, Viney, Neil Bullen, the Pies, I did it smartly, I thought, against the Adelaide Crows. You take a little bit of a risk, but they rested Darcy Moore. You'd hope he'd come back.
It was smart because they kicked 10-1.
They did.
Accuracy helps being smart. Yeah. But, you'd love to see... They've got some real issues, but you've got to bring more back in. But the issue for Collingwood was going to be, they'll get to the finals, but can we get Howe back and De Goey fit and firing? But Melbourne, in my view, should be the favourites for this game and are ready to strike, and Collingwood have got a real challenge. We highlighted Darcy Cameron many, many weeks ago, and I saw a tweet from Scotty Pendlebury, his captain, saying DC has been huge up front. And it was great to see. I've got his stats here. 15 disposals, 9 marks and 2 goals. And he did things that would excite his teammates who are watching from home. Well, I was on the couch watching and he got me out of my seat. I said, who's that? So his ability to finish, and we're going to see a ground level. We were speaking about it. There was a clip on the wing. So we know he can take the marks and kick the goal, but we're about to see a clip where he picks it up off his toenails. And I think that differentiates him from Cox. I'm not sure Cox can do that. So he's really bringing a few strings to the Collingwood big man department. On Cox, do you believe that if he hasn't played in the last few weeks, that he's unlikely to play from this point on? No, I just think it changes. It's a moving feast, changes so quickly. At the minute, Darcy's got he's up, he's in form and he's healthy, but that could change in the first minute. Melbourne or Collingwood? Melbourne. Yeah, Melbourne for me too, Ed. Well, they both got it wrong. OK, good luck. It's going to be a big game, no doubt about it.